And with that, Miss East, I'm going to turn over to you
Well,
what you're going to
hello.
tell us everything. So thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on to
You're
another craft
welcome.
cast, which we so appreciate because we like to learn. And here we
Yeah,
go.
actually, even before I started this class, the full class, somebody had asked me, "How do you add signatures? How do you add watermarks?" So I made that a bonus, and then it was like, "Let's make this one free."
Correct. She's
And
right. If you take it's
and
a little bonus in one of her classes, but we wanted to just, yeah, share it
yeah,
with
because
everyone.
everybody needs this one.
Yep.
So before we get started, I want to talk about the difference between a signature and a watermark because there's two different things, and they have two different purposes. And the so a signature is when your is about the piece of jewelry, and a watermark is about the photograph. This is the separation, or at least that's the way I define it. If I'm going to put my signature on a photo, what I'm saying, it's like a way of in a picture showing, yes, I made this. I'm putting my signature on this. I made this piece of jewelry, like signing a painting.
Hmm.
And the signature is on the back of the piece, but that doesn't show up in a photo. So in a photo, I just throw my signature down in the corner. A watermark is kind of grayed out, and it usually has the copyright date on it, and it goes across the whole picture, covering part of the piece. And it's to protect the photograph from theft. So if somebody wants to use that photograph, they're going to have to pay you to take that watermark off. Um, I don't actually use watermarks because I'm not selling photos and I'm not selling digital art. I'm selling jewelry. And when I've put out a piece of jewelry, the buyer doesn't want to see some big grayed out thing over it. I tend to use signatures rather than watermarks, but I wanted to show both because you may have a reason that you want to use one or the other. But just keep that in mind. A little signature in the corner, they can crop that out like that. That's not a watermark. A
Right.
watermark goes across the whole thing. It's hard to get rid of. So, all
Both
right,
are good. Both have a reason to
both
be.
have purposes, both have purposes. But if you are putting work out on Etsy to sell, I don't recommend putting a watermark across the whole thing because that's going to obscure part of the piece, and it's going to make your photo less attractive. And that's having an attractive photo is important when you're looking for sales.
Right.
So, okay,
Ready?
let's move on. Yes. Okay,
Okay,
so
let's go.
now you know the difference. All right, so this is where we start. And this is the desktop version, and I'm going to grab my signature. Just scan your signature into the computer. So I scanned it in. I'm going to put it on a transparent background, and then I'm going to save it as a PNG. So notice you can do JPEG, you can do PNG. When you save as PNG, it preserves the transparent background. So at this point, I have now saved that and I have it, and now I can throw it onto something. And I'm going to use insert. So I go to insert, I select the image and look for the PNG. Notice I have the JPEG and the PNG there. Grab the PNG. And there it is. There's got no white background on it. I can make it any size I want. Now I did this on purpose. I did a dark signature on a dark background so that you could see that it was practically invisible. Obviously, we don't want it invisible. So you can make adjustments to that. Once it's scanned in, you can turn that brightness all the way up. And now I have a white signature on a dark background. So I can have a dark background. I can, with a light signature, a light background with a dark signature. I can make it gray. So you have some control once it's scanned in, and then you can save that photo with the signature. Now let's do the same thing on the phone versus the desktop. So I'm going to go to my content. There is my signature. I've put it on a transparent background. And then I'm going to go to options. And I'm going to make sure I am saving it as a PNG, not a JPEG. And I'm going to save the image. And now I have this image. Can you pause for just a second? Um, I do want to tell you that there are certain things that you can do on the desktop that you can't do on the phone, and there are certain things you can do on the phone that you cannot do on the desktop. So it kind of goes back and forth. You can do what I just did on both, but eventually I'm going to start showing you how to do some other things, and it may be device specific. So I just wanted to throw that out
Okay,
there.
that's a really
They're
good point.
they're not identical, but the other thing I want to say is that you get both. When you subscribe to Photo Room, you can use it on your tablet, you can use it on your phone, you can use it on your desktop, you can use it on Apple, Android, Mac, you can use it on anything because it's web-based, right? So because it's web-based, once you put your information in there, it's all in the same place, no
Right.
matter how you access it. So if you want to make something a favorite, you may have to go to your phone to do that. But if you want, there's other things that may be easier to do on your desktop. So you can go back and forth.
And here, just because we're pausing, let's take this question here. Laura
Okay.
wanted to know, what did you use to scan the image into your device?
Uh, my scanner. I have a printer with a scanner, but you can take a photo. Your phones will do a pretty good job these days.
And there is a scanner app too.
There's
That's
a
pretty good.
scanner up on your
Yeah,
phone that you can
yeah, yeah,
probably use to
yeah,
just take a picture.
yeah,
Just make sure it's nice and bold, and that that's something that you do. Use a Sharpie maybe,
yeah, yeah.
so that it's something readable and visible. Um, and I used my scanner bed. I just signed it and used my scanner. My printer has a scanner,
Right, right.
but these days I think you could easily do it with your phone.
I
And then
agree
you
with
just
you.
bring it into photo room, strip out the background, save it
Right.
to the transparent background PNG, and you've
But
got it.
thank you for that question because, things change so fast. It's like, wait, we don't have
They do. Oh,
scanners
that is
anymore.
one
So,
other thing I want to say. Photo room is updating, they're developing really quickly. And so you may see that my screen doesn't look exactly like your screen. That may be because they've done an update, but I guarantee the functionality is still there.
right. Yeah,
So
yeah.
don't freak out if it doesn't look exactly the same.
We know that happens all the time. We
Yeah.
have to get used to that. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's
Okay,
move on. Ready?
so I have saved this signature. I've saved it as a PNG, and I'm ready to throw it onto a piece of jewelry. So let's go ahead. I brought up a piece from my design gallery, and then I'm going to go grab it from my camera roll, which is where it saved it. It makes it really big like that, and I'm going to shrink it down. 2-finger shrink, right? You just squeeze it, and I'm going to put it down in the corner. And there is my signature. And now and I can save that. So now I have a picture with that. So, and I'm making some little adjustments. So the other thing, so I'm trying to remember what I did next on this. I saved it. Right. All right. So now I've saved it. But let's say I want to use that signature in the corner like that all the time.
Mm.
Um, I want to make it a favorite. And so I'm going to go to the layer. I'm going to go to the signature, and there's a little star. And if you turn that little star on, it's added to favorites. And now when I go out to photo room, I've got my favorites, right? And when I open that up, I can go look, and there's my scans are in there's my favorite for my signature. You can have favorite texts and favorite backgrounds and all kinds of favorite things. And now when I go to add it, when I go to insert, you'll notice down under favorites, it was there. And instead of having to shrink it, it just popped it right into the corner.
Which, if
So
you're going to do a whole portfolio or 20 at
yeah,
once,
so
that's
you want to,
a
but
speed up.
that's one of those things you can only do that from your phone. You
Ah,
cannot do that from the desktop. There's no
interesting. Okay.
favoriting from the desktop. So, but the good news is you could do all the work on your desktop. Just hop over to your phone to add signatures, because you can just go to your design gallery and there's all your pictures, and you
Right,
can
right,
pull them
right,
up
right.
and throw those, use the favorite to throw the signatures on, insert the signatures. So, and it's going to put them right in the corner where the way you had it on the first one.
And you say phone, Pam, you also mean tablets, right? Or only?
Tablets and
Okay.
phones are the
All right,
same.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Tablets and phones are using the same technology.
Okay.
So,
So how cool is that? So you get your
so that
signature
was
in there
signatures.
and you can put it wherever you need. All right. So
Do we have any
now,
do we have any
and yeah, let's
questions about
check first before we
signatures?
move on. Getting signatures. Oh, good question, Sarah. Do you need the pro version to do that?
Wondering now. Maybe. I don't recommend the free version. This is really powerful software that's doing amazing things for you, and it's worth the price.
Yeah.
I'm selling jewelry professionally. I need professional photography. I would pay the price of one photograph
Yeah.
from a professional photographer is going to be more than the annual fee for this app.
Like by
Um,
triple more.
yeah.
I,
um, I'm
yeah.
getting professional results, at my fingertips on demand. I don't have to wait for a photographer. So the thing that's going to happen if you're using the non-pro version, first of all, Photo Room's going to watermark your photo. If you're not paying for it, you're going to get Photo Room at the bottom of all your photos, because the way if you're not paying for it, they're going to get you to advertise it for them.
Yeah.
If you want to remove the advertising, then you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of features that are not available until you get the pro version. I can't think of what I did that wasn't available. I don't know if you can favorite or not unless you get the pro version.
And listen, that's
I
why
can,
we're talking about it.
yeah.
They don't pay us for this. We're just saying this worked great. You can really transform your photos in a crazy way. If you
I don't
don't
get
have
anything from Photo
no,
Room.
we don't. We
I
don't.
have
This is
no
crazy.
kickbacks.
You'd think
No
that they would at
kickbacks.
this. Send us some
Actually
bagels or
asked
something.
them. I
Yeah.
actually asked them if they had affiliate links, and they went, "Nope, sorry."
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
So if you'd bet the whole class and see what you can do to transform your photos, like Pam just said, it's worth the price of the whole thing for a year. So it's
Yeah.
she's not kidding around. So it's one of the things we think is really amazing, or we wouldn't be bothered talking about it. All right, so should we move on
So
now to
yeah,
watermarks?
let's do watermark.
Okay.
So watermark is different than a signature. I'm going to use text for a watermark. And here's my logo. This is what I'm going to use for my watermark. Is I've got the copyright date, and I've got my logo and my print, my font that I use. And I'm going to turn it like at an angle, so it's going to go across the image. There's just a little rotate button at the bottom that I use to do that, and I'm going to position it, and I'm going to save it as a PNG. I might even add a shadow. I'm going to make a tight shadow on it. Don't make it a fuzzy shadow. You can change the blur and make it less blurry. So it's just a little bit of shadow. It's kind of nice. And then I'm going to save it as a PNG, just like I did for the signature. Do not gray it out at this stage. Leave it completely black. And there's a reason for that. All right, so I'm going to use the insert button. I'll talk about the reason in a second. I'm going to throw it in. So here it is going across my image. And now I'm going to gray it out, because if I gray it out before I save it, I can't make it darker. I can always gray it out afterwards. But if I had grayed it out and it went in gray and I went, oh, I want it a little darker, I can't make it any darker.
Right.
So save it as black and then gray it out after you apply it. Oh, pause for just a second, because what I did just something went by really quick. Do you see those two bars? It says jewelry object graphics. And over to the right, there are two bars on each one. If I grab those bars, I can change the order in which things are stacked. Right now, the jewelry is on top, the watermark is underneath, the graphic is underneath that. So everything is in front of the background. Does that make sense?
It's your layers.
It's my layers. It's my layers. So how you can change how you layer it. I just put the watermark behind the jewelry. I wouldn't necessarily want to do that, but know that you can. If I had a repeating pattern, I might want to put it behind the jewelry, right? Or I might want to put it over. That's a choice, though, and you can change that order by using those little bars to change the how they're stacked. Okay, you can hit play now. All right, so now you can see I'm moving it around and it's behind it, and then I can move it back in front. I think I can move. I think I moved it back in front, didn't I? No, evidently
I
not.
saw you move it to the side.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
Oh, there
I
you go.
moved it up. So now it's back in front of the jewelry, right? And you can drag that thing around and move it. And
Oh, you know
So
what, Pam?
that's,
Wait, let me pause a second because I want to show something off that you did. You just moved that around. That
uh-huh.
photo in her class, she shows you how to put that photo on a background and you get gradients included in the class
Yes,
and that frigging reflection that's stunning. That
yes.
is all created in photo room with her original photo that she shows you how to do. I'm just
Yeah, I
saying.
I took a picture of that piece on a piece of black velvet. I laid it down on a piece of black velvet, took a photograph of it, and then I stripped the background and did everything else was done in post, in photo room,
The
right?
reflection and everything.
I
It's
made the
amazing.
background, I made that gradient, and I show how to do that in the class. And I made the reflection and I made the shadow that's on the wall behind it. All of that was done in photo room.
And it's push button. It's not labor intensive. And I
Yeah.
only am saying that because I've been
Mm.
doing Photoshop since it started a billion years ago. It's labor intensive. Not this. There's one in there when you made the piece and you put a reflection of a window on the background, light
Yeah,
coming
right,
through.
right, right.
Unbelievable. Just saying, all right, let us continue. I just had to show that off because the photo's beautiful to begin with. And now we're back to watermarks. Oh, no, we're going to do this
Okay,
now.
so templates with signatures and watermarks. So you in my class, I show how to make templates, and I'm not going to go over it real heavily here, but you can add signatures to your templates. Or
Signatures
you
to,
can,
okay, okay.
so a template is I can apply a template to a photo. So if I do the same thing all the time, like look at that tree up at the top with the green and the reflection.
Right.
I use that one a lot. So I have a template for it, and
You
I
use
could throw
that
a piece of,
background a
I
lot,
use that background and the
right?
reflection.
And the reflection, yeah.
Everything that is part of the photo, other than the piece of jewelry, is in the template, and you can add signatures and watermarks to your templates as well. But there, I have a cautionary tale, and I'm going to show it to you. So
Right.
go ahead. Um, I made a really bad mistake when I was first starting, and I decided not to cut it out. I decided to include it so you could see what happens. So I'm going to insert my signature. It took a second. I was having a slow internet day.
Oh, we know that. We understand that.
So there it is. I'm going to select an image. I'm going to grab my signature and I'm going to pop it in there and I'm going to put it where I want it. And there it is. And now I want to make this into a template, right? So I'm going to make a template. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to, oh, what am I doing? Now I'm not sure what I'm doing. Oh, I'm taking out the piece of jewelry.
Okay, you're just
That
making
was
a
it.
template with the
Right. So
signature.
I wanted to make a template with a signature so I could throw in a piece of jewelry and just have it with that signature at the bottom.
Got
And
it.
I thought that would be great.
Yep.
I thought, okay, this is it. I'm going to be able to just use that as a template. It's going to be great. Now watch what happens. I'm going to go ahead and grab that template and boom, suddenly my jewelry is down in the corner instead of that signature. And I was like, what is going on here? Can you pause it?
Mm-hmm.
I have to explain this because this baffled me. I was like, oh my God, what happened? Why is my jewelry down there and not my signature with my jewelry? Well, it's because when you use a template, whatever your object is what's going to get replaced. So all templates have a piece of jewelry in them. And then when you use the template, it just replaces that piece of jewelry with a different, your current piece of jewelry. Well, since there was nothing in the photo except the signature, it goes, well, I guess this is what you wanted replaced and you wanted it down in this corner. So boom, it gets down in the corner. So that's not how it works. You have to have a piece of jewelry in the photo to make a template. Okay, hit play. Because you're all going to do that and go, what happened? So I decided to show it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So we're going to go back and we're going to try this again. And I'm going to delete that because that didn't work. And I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to create a new template. And I'm going to throw a piece of jewelry into it. It doesn't matter what, because you're going to end up taking it out anyway. So here's my piece of jewelry. I'm going to insert the signature just like I did before. Remember to grab the PNG and not the JPEG. And then shrink it down, put it in the corner, and there is my piece of jewelry. With that, I'm going to save that as a template with the jewelry in it. Turn into template. Okay, so now I've created a template with the jewelry, and I'm going to go to create. I'm going to grab something else. I've got my earrings, and I'm going to use that template, right? So I just click it, and boom, there it is. Now, here's what you need to know. It's going to replace everything. When you use a template, I can't layer templates. So it's going to take the shadows, it's going to take the background, everything. So when I changed templates, that signature went away. That means that when you build a template with shadows and backgrounds, the signature has to be part of that template in order for there to be a signature on that template. Does that make sense?
This is what
Okay.
you have to, I'm going to pause 1 second if we have questions here, because this is something I know you have to watch this video again and try it because it's a lot to get into muscle memory.
Yeah, the use of templates was the hardest thing to learn. But it is really powerful. And you can see I've made all these backgrounds. They can all be part of a template. You need a separate background, a separate piece of jewelry. You need to do the shadows and or reflections. You need to do signatures. All of it has to be on the template before you save it as a template if you want all those elements in there.
Which makes sense. You want to, yeah, it makes sense when you think it through. Put everything in there you want, and then just switch out the one thing that you're
And then you
changing each
just
time.
change out the jewelry.
Right.
Right.
But you got to play around with it a bit. And we really appreciate the Pam left in there the error because you know we're all going to do that. And then
That
we'll
was,
think,
it
yeah.
confused me so much. I was like, I've got to show this because I knew somebody was going to try and make a template with a signature and go, why is my jewelry down in the corner? Like,
Now
well,
here's a good question. Francis said, okay, so you use templates on your desktop and favorites on your phone?
no, I use, well, yes and no, because favorites are elements that I'm going to add. They're not a template. So I can add a signature to any photo using favorites on my phone, whether it was with a template or not. It's not a template. It's just an insert. So when I go to insert, I can insert anything that has been favorited. It's going to be in my favorites if it's stuff I use all the time, or I can just go to my camera roll. Either way, it's just a way of grouping elements that you use a lot, but it's not a template. Templates can be used on both your desktop and your phone, but they work better on the desktop. This is one of those areas where I have better luck with my templates on my desktop than I do on my phone. Like for instance, did you notice I don't know if you noticed, I had the tree pendant with a black background with a reflection. That one doesn't work on my phone. I don't know why. It doesn't work on my phone, but it works on my desktop.
Well, and don't be
So,
surprised if you're using it next week and that's not the issue anymore because they've updated the app. So that's the
and
other
the
thing to
other thing,
remember.
it's easier to make templates. I mean, you can use any template you make on the desktop is going to be available to you to use
Okay.
on your
On your
phone.
phone. Okay.
It may not work right, but it's going to be there. I had 6 that worked right and 1 that didn't. So
Okay.
I don't know why. But when you make the template on your desktop, it's already on your phone. It's easier to make the templates on the desktop, even if you're going to use them on your phone. I have tried to make templates on my phone and it's a lot harder.
Okay. That's good to know.
So it's
That's
just,
good to know.
it's a lot of button pushing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather use the mouse for that.
Yeah. I agree. I agree 100%.
I have
Great
completely lost
questions.
my
Thank
train
you.
of thought. I don't know
But
what
I'm
I'm
just
doing
thinking,
next.
I'm looking at the gradients here and I just
Oh
want to point
yeah.
out
You don't get
included
you
in
don't get
that your
all of
class.
these.
You don't get all of them, but you get
You get
10. I think you get 10 of
I
them.
think you get a dozen
A dozen. Okay.
gradients. You don't get the roses or the Easter eggs or the
Right.
pumpkins or anything like that, but you get the just the color shadings. You get, I think it's a dozen
I think you're right.
that you get that
With
I
the class.
included with the class.
And what's good
Um,
about that,
and I show you how to make your own.
correct.
So
But what's great is when you're trying to learn to make your own, this is my personal thing. I love having something already done so I can look at it. To me, it's an easier way to learn when you have something done right there. So you have your choice. You can look at them, you have them, they're all included, and then you
so
learn how to make your own.
notice that some of them are light to dark from top to bottom. Some are from corner to corner. some are from left to right. And then also some of them have horizon lines and some of
Mm-hmm.
them don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I use those horizon lines a lot. I like the look. That
Mm-hmm.
pink
Mm-hmm.
piece had a horizon line. That was
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
that was the gradient number 3 with the pink.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I added the reflection and
Yeah,
that
that's
looks,
a great horizon line in that one.
yeah.
Really pretty.
So
All right, let's move on. Let's see what we have left here. Any more questions too, please jump in.
all right, so I just used a template that, or I just added a background. So I've got a red background signature. I'm going to make that into a template. So turn into a template, create the template, and now I have a template with my signature and a background and shadows. So I made the whole thing,
Love
and
it.
now I'm going to use it. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to go to my sample photos and I'm going to grab a picture, bring it in, and then I'm going to apply that template that I just made. Boom.
Genius. I mean,
So now I
that's
have the shadows, the
fabulous.
signatures,
Yeah.
and I've got the whole thing. So there's that one doesn't have the signature on it, but that one does. So
I mean, so great to be able to quickly do that and change everything you have. All right, so there's what it looks like, the class. And well, walk us through the photos that are in there,
so
Pam. The
so
one on top.
the
Yeah,
one on top was the original photo. So that was the picture. Actually, that may have been the crappy photo. Um, I can't remember, but I took a photo, and this is pretty much what it looked like. When it was in my camera, original, no editing whatsoever. It looked like that top photo, and then I started to play with it. I adjusted the exposure, I adjusted the brightness and the contrast. I did all of that to make sure that it was as perfect as I could get it, and then I started throwing backgrounds on it. So the one all the way on the left, that's that one that I talked about earlier that I like, that blue green with the reflection. And I liked that the blue green picked up the color of the patina.
hmm
The middle one is my garden. That's that is the front yard of my house, but I blurred it, and it made it look like it was out in nature, right? So, and then of course my favorite off to the right was that one I was talking about with the black and white and the horizon line and the reflection again.
And I'm pretty
I
sure those are the ones that are you
I
can
I teach all of those backgrounds in the class. So the class covers all of that.
and you have like those are some of the backgrounds that are in there. I'm saying for free that's included with it is what I was trying to
The
spit
Yeah,
out.
the blue green, not my front yard,
Not your
but
front yard.
the black and white and the blue green are definitely part of the package. And we teach you how to add the reflections, and we teach you how to add shadows, and we teach you how to manipulate the shadows and how to make it look like, where you can choose where the light source is coming from if you want. And you can get different effects based on that.
No, Bonnie, let me explain to her. No, the gradient backgrounds, you can make them in photo room. Pam shows you how. We just
I
also
don't know. I did
include,
not make them in photo room. I
oh,
made
you
them in
didn't. I'm sorry.
silhouette.
I'm
I
sorry.
made them in
You're right.
silhouette.
Sorry.
And you can make those backgrounds in the free version of
A
silhouette. You don't
silhouette.
have to pay for it. And I actually did the whole bonus on making backgrounds in the free version to prove that you could do it in the free version.
Right. I'm
So
sorry. Yep.
you don't
Yep.
have to pay for silhouette. You don't have to have a silhouette cutting machine. You can download the software for free and you can use it to make any color, any gradient. There's so much you can do with it. I show you how to make all the adjustments. I show you how to make the color of your background match a color in your piece. um I show you how to do color matching, and
And
I have a
it isn't that difficult. I mean, especially when
no,
you
it's
have
not.
Pam showing you every step of the way. But that's what I'm saying. There's also included when you buy the class, there's 12 gradients already done in case you just love those and you
Yeah,
don't
you get
want
a
to make your own.
dozen, but I don't keep it a secret. I say, here's how I made this
Yeah.
dozen that I gave you.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
It's like it's right there. It's in the program.
it's all fun and all of that. So it's
And
great. It's definitely a great app to learn to use. It's really, with Pam's help, great.
any more questions about signatures and
Wait, let
watermarks?
me look here. Wait, I just saw something. When posting to a website, thanks, Debs, would you suggest using the same background for each photo? Good question. Less distracting. When would you suggest using more artful backgrounds?
So that's a good question. And it depends upon where you're posting and for what purpose. Um, so there's several categories of photo approach. Like for instance, when I'm doing something that's juried, so like if I'm going to submit to a jury, I want a white background with a shadow. That's it. I don't want anything else. You're going to keep it as simple as you can because the point is the jewelry and it's not an art shot, it's a jury shot, and they just need to see everything really clearly. When I'm posting on Etsy, I want it artful, but not so arty that it obscures the jewelry. That you want it to be about, it still needs to be about the jewelry. So, for example, I would not use that middle photo against the my yard on Etsy.
Right, right, right.
I would most likely use the one all the way over to the right, or excuse me, the left. It's very subtle. It's got a little bit of color that echoes the thing, but it's still all about the jewelry. But I would use that photo on Etsy. Would I do all of them that way? No. But what I would do is make them all thematically similar. So if you go out to my Etsy store, every picture's got like a different color background, but they're all in the same value. It's not one's really bold and one's really muted. They're all pretty muted and they're all, it may have a
It's your design
reflection or it may
sense.
have it's yeah, it's I have a design sense. And so it's different. Each one is different, but they still all look like they're part of my collection.
Right.
And the problem with Etsy is you have very little time to capture people's attention. And jewelry on a black background is so ubiquitous, people don't even see it.
Yep, yep.
They just click, click, click. So I want to capture their attention. I want to make sure that my photo just pops and it's gorgeous and it makes the piece look gorgeous. And so I do include some color and I do include variation from piece to piece, and then I've actually had people call me and say, or text me and say, hey, I'm really interested in that piece on the yellow background. And they're identifying the jewelry by what color background it was on.
Yeah.
Well, that narrows the field. On social media, now you can get maybe even more artsy because now you're just trying to build your brand. You're trying to say, here's who I am, here's the jewelry I do, and I want a picture that's really going to stun people. And this is where your more artistic photos. I might use the one on the yard for that.
Right,
I'm not selling the piece. I'm just trying to go. I want the whole photo. It's becoming an art photo.
right.
The whole photo is becoming a piece of art rather than just the piece. And so in social media, I'm more likely to use the more artistic shots. Did I answer the question?
I think that's great. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
it's a breakdown of those three aspects, which I think is really true. Thank you for that
yeah.
question. Um, oh, Linda, this is close to my heart. Are the advantages of photo room over Photoshop or Lightroom? I use Photoshop all day long.
If you are familiar with Photoroom or Photoshop and you're proficient in it, you can do all this stuff in Photoshop. The
That being
reason
said,
I
it's
like,
still faster in photo room. Maybe not also with Lightroom, but Photoshop is not as fast as these two things, I'm telling you.
yeah, the difficulty with Photoroom and Lightroom, or excuse me, Photoshop and Lightroom is the learning curve.
Yes.
It's not intuitive, whereas Photoroom is super intuitive. You'll be up and running like that.
Yeah,
And
I agreed.
so it's really quick. It's on my phone, it's on my computer. If I move from device to device to device, I can be working with my photos anywhere I am, because it saves my photos and I can go back. Oh, I wanted to pull this one up and look at it, but I'm
Yeah.
on my tablet right now. Well, it's there, it's on my tablet. So you've got the cross platform ability and you have the ease of use
I agree.
where and that's why I like this one over the other ones. But if you already are working in one of these other ones, whether or not you choose to switch, I would pull up the free version and play with it and see if it's worth it to you.
It's still faster.
You
I
cannot
mean,
do as much in the free version. I'm just going to be very straightforward. You cannot do as much in the free version, but you will get a feel for it. It'll strip the background. You can throw in shadows. You can throw on an AI background. I don't think
yeah.
and so you can play with it a little bit for free to see if it's easier and faster and more
Su
fun for you.
Susan already said photo room is very easy to learn. I agree. It's really a much more user friendly. And I love Photoshop. Like I said, I use it all day long, but it's very different. It's a whole different approach to things there. Wait, let me go back in the questions here. Oh, Francis, that's a good point. She said it's like when with framing a picture, if you see the frame, it's probably too much frame.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly.
it's
Exactly.
yeah. Let me see. So there's a question here, Laura. You want to know? Thanks for this additional class. All right, you're mastering photo editing. Is this a brand new class? It's from last month, 6
Yeah,
weeks
it
ago.
is. We did it in February. I
Yeah,
think
it's
it was
recent.
February. So I did two classes very close together. I in last year, I think it was November, October, November,
Was
somewhere
that
in
your
there.
photo
I did
class?
the cell phone photography class. And the
Yeah,
cell
right,
phone photography class, the the major portion of it was how to, because you can't get a good image. All this editing that I'm doing, if your photo is lousy, you might be able to make it mediocre.
right. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not
That's
going
the
to make
thing.
a good photo out of a bad photo. You have to get a good photo to start with. So, fully half or more of that first class that I did last year was how do I get a good photo into my phone to begin with? And then I also did a very light touch on Photo Room where I talked about, okay, now here's how you strip the background, here's how you throw in an AI background. And it didn't go into a lot of depth, but it did show you Photo Room. Then I was getting all these questions about Photo Room. Can I do this? Because somebody asked, how do I add a watermark? And how do I add a signature? And I thought, well, I'm going to do a deep dive. So I went in and I did a deep dive on Photo Room. And that's what this class is, Mastering Photo Editing with Photo Room was a deep dive, and it doesn't cover photography at all. It assumes you already have a good
A good
photo.
photo. And did we put in anything new after we did this class live? Did we do another bonus that we added or not? I'm trying to
For mastering
remember.
photo, we did the bonuses on mastering were the how to do the gradient
Right,
and how to do watermarks was
right.
signatures and watermarks was a bonus. I feel like there was one more bonus, but I
I know
can't
I'm
remember
looking it
what it
up to
was.
see.
I I feel like there were three
Banners,
bonus. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
framing.
yeah. We did marketing. We didn't. Was that a bonus? Was the
Yes,
marketing a bonus?
that yes, it's another bonus in there.
Yeah. So we did a whole one on see that up in the upper on this photo that's on the screen, up in the upper right corner, it says all new updates, and there's a big star. That's all stuff that you can add with Photo Room. You could put a big star with an
Right, that was
announcement
the
in
other
it
part. Right.
on your photo with Photo Room. All of these graphics for boom, I'm running a sale, 20% off, Black Friday sale. That's all in Photo Room, and you can just put them in like stickers. They are
Yeah.
stickers essentially. And so that's also covered in a bonus.
And it's a lot. It's a long class. So it's great to be able to go back and watch it because sometimes you go, wait, where did you push? So it's I'm telling you from experience of
That class
watching.
I did a lot of repetition in that class because I would do the same series of motions, a
Right.
series of buttons over and over because I wanted you to see them more than once because
Yeah,
it
it
can be
makes a huge
really easy
difference.
to miss. What did she click? What did she click?
Yeah.
So I tried to, duplicate things so that you could start getting a feel. First I do this, then I do this, then I do this.
Susan just said you're very sweet. Just she said all of Pam's classes are great. They are. They
Thank
are. But wait,
you.
because
Thank you.
wait, we have another photo coming up
Yes, we do.
because do 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 do
Do,
do.
do, do. I'm actually wearing that pendant right now.
It's
Not that you can see it, but
a slide out pendant with a hidden message. You can use your coupon code right now for that. What did
yeah,
we
this
say the
is
coupon code was? Signature 20.
this class
Uh,
is April 20th
two
and
Saturdays from now, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, right? Something
right.
like that. Yeah.
And it is another huge class. I
It
cover
is. It's huge.
so many techniques in this class. We're going to be doing gemstones, and I actually end up showing what was it? Three kinds of gemstone setting.
You did tell
And
them about the PPP plates.
I did the photopolymer plates were used to make that hummingbird and those words, and I give
It'll
you
blow your
that
mind.
artwork.
Yeah.
That artwork is included.
Oh yeah.
I do pearl setting. I have a whole bonus on how to set up your artwork for photopolymer because that's a skill too. And the photopolymer was just amazing.
It's
You can get any kind of lettering that you want onto metal clay if you know how to do the photopolymer correctly. And
Debs,
then of
go
course,
ahead. Wait, let me tell her, Debs, you can buy it already because you know why? You'll get the recording right away. I mean, we make sure you get the screencast recording, even if you last second couldn't show up, and
yeah,
all
you
the
don't have to.
bonuses and
We
everything. So not to worry.
the advantage to coming to the live is that you get to ask me questions, right?
Right, right,
You get to be part of the experience, and I'm going to answer your questions.
right,
But even if you can't be there live, you're going to get the whole class with
right,
the bonuses
right.
afterwards.
And
So
you can
yes,
always email us with questions because we love questions. We want everyone to be happy and learn.
or you can come to Pam East Designs chat on
All right.
Facebook,
Yep. Facebook
and I will,
chats.
if you've taken my class, I will answer your questions there. So
Deb said, "This is true, but I love picking your brain. We hear
yeah.
you. We understand. We understand." Well, it's all great fun. I think I just put in here just to make it easy if people want to come over to craftcast.com and get your classes.
Hmm.
Hold on one sec. I'm going to show you one more time the coupon code. So there you go. Watermark 20 will get you 20% off for a week. So a week from this recording, a week from today is April 10th. So everyone, if they're listening on YouTube or whatever, they'll know that. Uh, isn't she amazing? I know. She just taught us so much already.
Thank
Um,
you.
Thank you everyone for coming. We love hanging out. Don't you all feel like we ate a lot of sugar and feel really good? Because I do. We're all hyped up. We're ready to do stuff. So make sure and send us anything. If you do any photos in photo room, send us. We want to see
Oh,
them.
I
So
want to see
tag
them.
us. Yeah,
I want to see what you're
we
doing
love it.
because
Yeah,
yeah, it's fabulous. I
and
love when
everyone will
people
learn.
actually use what I do.
Yeah. Well, and then everyone learns from what other people do. So that's always fabulous as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone, for coming on. Have a lovely day. I hope you all enjoyed if you were around the eclipse that happened. If not, there'll be another one in, I don't know, 30 years or something. So there you go. And thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Pam, for sharing with us.
You're welcome.
Okay, goodbye, everyone.